Hello, this is Instructor Williams. I am the Technology Instructor for the Antioch Public Library District. Thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. Today we will be going over Microsoft Publisher 2016 Basics Part 2. In today's lesson, we will go over formatting page layout, inserting images and arranging them, inserting text boxes and arranging them, saving a publisher file, and opening an existing publisher file. Formatting page layout. The first thing we need to do is open up Publisher. We'll go to the Start menu. We will find Publisher 2016, open, and we will start with a blank document. Now, in order to format the page layout, we want to go to the Page Design tab up here in the upper left-hand corner. And under the Page Design, we will find things like templates, margins, orientation, size, guides, schemes, which determines the color schemes, background colors, fonts. In this section, we're going to focus on the Page Setup group, one that has margins, orientation, and size. And then also this little box at the bottom right hand corner with the arrow. If I click on that, it gives me an expanded menu of options. So under Page Setup, we're going to go to Margins, and we're going to make sure that it is set to moderate. Moderate means that it will be a ½ inch margin all around, top, bottom, left, right. And we see that here with the ruler and the indicators here, that this will represent a ½ inch on each side all around. Then we want to set our orientation to portrait. Generally that's the default setting. If we wanted to go to landscape, we would just come down and click landscape, and you would see the layout of the page rotate 90 degrees. But we want to work with portrait in this example. And then when we deal with the page size, we can click this down and we have several options here. And we're going to go with the default, which is letter portrait, which is an 8.5 by 11 paper size. Now that's the standard paper size that you buy to put in your printer at the copy store. Insert images and arrange. In this part of our video, we are going to insert some images and work through the arrangement functions in Microsoft Publisher. So the first thing we want to do is come to the Insert tab. We want to come to the Illustrations group, and then we want to select Pictures. Now this will open up a window for what we have on file on our computer. And I'm going to scroll down to Tech Class D. This is a flash drive that I have. I'm going to come to Microsoft Publisher, Publisher Basics. I'm going to insert these two graphics. One is Library Graphic and one is Montserrat Visita. Once I have all of my images highlighted, I come down here to the bottom right corner of the window and click Insert. And you can see off into the margin that the two images have been inserted. And you can see that both of them have the circles and squares outlining them, which means both of them are highlighted or selected for editing. In that instance, if I bring one over into Publisher, both will be brought over. If I take one out, both will be taken out. If I only wanted to work with one at a time, I would click somewhere away from the pictures, and then click one picture. And then I can bring that in, and I can move it around, and I can position it wherever I want. So I'm going to put the library graphic toward the bottom left here, and I'm going to bring Montserrat Visita up to the upper right. Now the arrange function on the images deals with lining them up according to a focal point. In order to arrange everything at the same time, I would need to select all of the images. What I will do is click on one image till it gets highlighted where you see the circles and squares surrounding it. Then I will press the Control key and click on the other image. And now that they both have the circles and squares surrounding them, it means they are both selected for editing. I want to come up to the picture tools. And I have my options here on the ribbon. And if I look at the group names, I have Insert, Adjust, Swap, Picture Styles, and Arrange. Under Arrange, I would select Align. Now if I just click Align, it gives me a drop-down menu of all of the different ways I can align these pictures. If I click Align, it gives me a drop-down menu, and I can say Align Left. And what it does is it aligns to the far left side of both of the images. I could also come in here and choose to align to the right, which won't move in this particular area. But if I unselect one, select one, bring it over here, highlight them both, and then choose Align to the right, they will align to the right edge of the images. If I choose to align to center, they will align with the center part of the images anchored together. So aligning allows me to line the pictures up in a precise order so that it's lined up either on the edge or during the center. But as we see, we have more options as well under Align. We can choose to align according to the top line here, or we could choose to align toward the bottom here, or in the middle. So now it's the horizontal center that is aligned. So if we wanted to align these toward the bottom of the page, we could set one right on the edge of the margins like this. We can highlight both of them to make sure they all have the circles and squares around. Come to Align, and we can align them to the bottom so they're all perfectly aligned along the bottom indicator of the margin. Inserting text boxes and arranging. In this exercise, what we are going to do is insert text boxes along with our images. So we're going to come up to the Home tab in the upper left here. We see it changes the ribbon. If we go to the fifth group, so Clipboard, Font, Paragraph Styles, Objects, we can select Draw Text Box. Once we have that selected, we can come into our file, and you can see a black crosshairs, or a black cross. We can push down on the left mouse and drag it to the right a little bit, and drag it down, and this creates the initial size of our text box. Once we have a text box, and we let go of the left button on the mouse, we have a cursor that's flashing where the text will start when we type. And we can type, "This is a library icon." Then we're going to highlight the text, and we're going to come to our font group, and we see that the font size is 10, and we want to make that bigger, so we're going to drop this down to 14. And so now we have a text box that says, "This is a library icon." In addition to creating a text box under the Home tab, you can also come to the Insert tab and find a function to insert the text box as well. So we're going to do that under the Insert tab, and it's the same process. We come into the document, we have our crosshairs, drop down on the left button on the mouse, draw our text box, let up, we have a cursor inside, and here we're going to type "A library with elegant architecture." Once again, we will highlight this, and we will bring the font up to 14. So now we have two text boxes, and we have two icons in our publisher file. We're going to come to "This is a library icon," and we're going to edit the text. So we're going to highlight this, and we're going to type, "Enjoy your local library." We're going to highlight that, And we're going to change that font now to a really big number, 72. And I did that to show you this. When I look at the text box, I barely have anything in it. And the white circles and squares have now turned red. That red indicates there is more text than what the box size allows for. So I'm going to move this other one down out of the way. And we're going to highlight this, and we can resize this box by using these red markers. If we use the ones on the corners, they will expand vertical and horizontal with the same aspect ratio. So I'm going to choose the bottom right corner. When I hover my mouse over it, you can see that it turns into a diagonal two-sided arrow. I'm going to press down on my left button on the mouse, and I'm going to drag it open. You can see here that I still am missing some text, so I'm going to open it a little bit more. And now I can see that the circles and squares around the text box have turned white. That means all of the text is able to be shown inside the parameters of the text box. And I'm just going to tweak that by centering the text. Enjoy your local library. You want to move this image here, just under it. We're going to resize this text box, put that under this picture, and then move this picture under there, just like that. I'm going to come into this text box, highlight everything, bring that to maybe size 36. And now we're going to use the squares on the side just to move it left and right. And then if we needed everything to be aligned perfectly, I would come in and I would select the first text box. I would hit the Control key. I would left click on the black and white picture. Keep my finger on the Control key. Click the next text box. Finger still on the Control key. Click the picture at the bottom. You can see that they are all selected. Come up to align and align according to center. That means that everything is lined up right down the center. Saving a publisher file. Now, to save a publisher file, it's just like saving things in Microsoft Word, in Microsoft Excel, even in PowerPoint. We want to come up to the very first tab up here, the File tab, which is also known as the Backstage view. And we want to come down to either Save or Save As. As a quick reminder, Save is designed to update an existing document that already has a name. Save As is designed to either work with an existing document that has a name, but you want to keep the original and create a new updated version. You'd use Save As. Or if you've never saved the document before, you would use Save As the first time around so that you can choose where you're going to save it. And then you would name it. And then you would simply click Save. And that's how you save a publisher document. Opening an existing publisher file. In order to open an existing publisher file, it's very similar to Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. What you want to do is you want to locate the file. So we're going to come down to this yellow envelope in the bottom part of our screen. This is called the Windows Explorer. Click on that and a window will pop up showing everything that's attached to our computer. Now I have everything saved on a flash drive titled Tech Class. So I'm going to come into Tech Class and I'm going to come down to the folder that says Microsoft Publisher. Click it once. We can see the main body of the area changes here. And these yellow icons indicate that these are folders. So I'm going to click on the Publisher Basics folder. and I can see the icons for Publisher, for PowerPoint, and for a couple of images. So what we want to do is open up the file that we just saved, because it's an existing file, and I titled that one Example 1. So this is our example. We'll double click on it, and here we have the file that we just saved and closed. And that concludes our videos on Microsoft Publisher 2016 Basics. Here is a summary of everything that we covered in our video today. We learned to format the page layout. We learned to insert images and arrange them. We learned to insert text boxes and arrange those. We went through the exercise of saving a publisher file. And finally, we went through the exercise of opening an existing publisher file. Once again, this is Instructor Williams, and I would like to thank you on behalf of the Antioch Public Library District. For more technology-related videos and other Antioch Library programs, be sure and click our subscribe button.